Delighted to have Teamwork Arts as the co host for our year. Teamwork Arts has been working on taking India through its art forms to the world and bringing the world to India for over a quarter of a century. And I'm really delighted to have our esteemed panelists for the session Padma Shri, Laila Tyabji, founder of Dastakar, an NGO which is working with crafts and craftspeople in 25 states all over India. Most of our rewarding projects involve creating new livelihood avenues through craft for pastoral and marginalized rural communities, bonded labor in Bihar, displaced villages in Ranthambore, tribals of Orissa, victims of insurgency in Kashmir. Welcome, ma'am. And happy to have with us Purnima Rai, former President's Delhi Craft Council, a voluntary and non-government organization working for the development of traditional craft. Since 1986, she has joined the council. She's worked on multi-dimensional aspects related to crafts, which includes exhibitions, designing projects, documentation workshop, with a 3.5-decade-long journey of involvement with crafts and craftspeople, and about working in one of the oldest NGO in the country over the period. And this panel would be moderated by Dr. Dimple Bal, Associate Professor, Design, the National Institute of Fashion Technology. Dr. Bal is currently nurturing the concept of Kala Manthan, a craft design experiment between students of NIFT Delhi and artisans from Dastakari Heart Samiti. And may I request the panelist on the dais, please. And before I hand over to the moderator, may I also have Padma Shri Laila Tyabji, ma'am, to just start with sharing her experience, wide acknowledged experience in this space, and then you can take it over, Dr. Dimple, from there.
So I can start. Welcome all. It's a privilege for me to be moderating this session with people I have always been inspired by, and the core reason why today we are looking at questions and discussions with this panel is when we look at Indian crafts, there is a livelihood that is being created. There are traditions that are being there for such a long time. So here on this panel, there are two very, very senior members who have worked intensively as far as the craft sector is concerned. And I would know, ma'am, what is the truth? It is the truth. We'll start with Leela ji, in which it would be nice if you could share with us what was your vision when you started working with the craft sector, to get them to this platform where today you see all of them being so confident with their mobile phones, having their own Insta accounts. You started with them from scratch. How did it happen?
Well, I'm afraid you're going to be very disillusioned because there was no great master plan. It all happened completely by accident. And I've always been a person who takes one day at a time, and whatever happens, happens. So if I have to go right back to the beginning, which is about, I suppose, 50 plus years ago. I was a freelance designer, and I was doing all kinds of different jobs, from graphic design to interiors to clothes and costumes for the set and for films and stage. In those days, being a designer was a very open-ended. There wasn't this kind of professionalism that there is today, or the kind of specialization. And as I was working in all these different fields, I came to the realization that what I actually liked was to work with Indian crafts and Indian techniques. And that, doing a plexiglass and stainless steel office didn't really excite me. And I enjoyed working with traditions and techniques and materials which are part of our Indian thing. But it's certainly, I mean, I worked then for another, I think, 10, 12 years as a freelance designer without having any social purpose to it. It was what I enjoyed doing. And it was only when I went to Kutch as visiting designer in, I think, the mid-1970s that it really came home to me that unless you did something about the lives of craftspeople, you really couldn't improve their products or their things. And while we all complained a lot about standards falling and the quality falling and lots of crafts disappearing or becoming small knickknacks, the root cause was that unless you can make it financially viable for craftspeople to improve and value add, they're not able to afford to do so. So that 6 months in Kutch was probably the turning point, as well as working with two very inspiring bosses, Mr. Brij Bhasin and Mrinalini Sarabhai, who also saw craftspeople not just as skilled pairs of hands, but as individuals, as people, as skilled professionals who had somehow been marginalized. And that's when I think the seeds of Daskar, in my mind, started coming. Of course, there were 5 others, and I think that's been one of the successes of Daskar, is that there were 6 of us, all with very different ideas, and so we were able to put together a holistic basket of support services, and it wasn't just a single vision.
Right now I saw so many of you coming and trying to discuss how these two people have really influenced our lives, got crafts into our lives, which I don't think 25 years back we just knew one-off names of the crafts, but because of people like them and many other, each and every craft became a household name. Suddenly we wanted to know more about it. We wanted to see it contemporized and used it the way we could think about it. Purnima ji, what was your thought process when you thought of a beautiful place like Kamla having such interesting merchandise?
Well, when we started Kamla, before that, we were just talking between ourselves, that's at the Delhi Crafts Council. And we thought that there is so much craft, there's so much textile in our country, and then we have no marketing outlet in such a place, central place as in Delhi, except for central cottage industries at that time. And that was steadily going down in its quality, in everything. That it was really in a very pitiable condition. So we thought to ourselves, I mean, this is really unacceptable. And at the Craft Council, we had no experience whatsoever in retail marketing. We had no money. So that's how we started Kamla.
Story of our lives.
But we were very lucky that we got the space where it is now, because I think for any retail space, the location of the space is very important. So we were lucky to get, this is through the government, Ministry of Tourism and of course the DC Handicrafts. So this space was just built, and we were able to get where Kamla is at now. It's in Baba Khadak Singh Marg, and it proved to be a very good venue. So that was the start, and as I told you, we had no money, so it was beg, borrow, and but we had worked with so many artisans before this, both in crafts and in textiles. So we were able to, sort of get things from them initially, and we put up Kamla, and then slowly it took on, and we were able to pay back everything. And right now we have a policy in which we also design and order stuff especially for Kamla. Of course, we take traditional crafts, so it's a mix of both. So that's why luckily it has worked out. And I would like to just very quickly mention one success story of which we're very proud of. When we started, you know, chicks, bamboo chicks, it used to be there everywhere in Delhi earlier, and then it had just disappeared. And then through Craft Council, we did a design program, we did a marketing program, which wasn't successful at all. But through Kamla, because we could do proper, quality checks and everything, and designs, so we are able to do a lot of exports also with chicks, and this has kept us going through COVID. The 1 or 2 years when we had no income and we had to pay the staff and everybody, the chick exports saw us through.
Lovely. And ma'am, when you were working with artisans, you saw their children grow, you saw what was their interest in the crafts that their generation, the earlier generations were taking care of. Were they interested? Did they take it forward? What was happening in that area?
I think that every part of India and every craft community is a little different. There's no one sort of thing. But it is true that over the last couple of decades, the younger generation has not been thinking of crafts as a viable occupation.
Yeah.
And it's not because they don't feel for crafts, or it's after all, it's in their blood and in their hands, but they don't feel that it either earns enough, or even more importantly, a craftsperson has no social status. And though they are, I think, as skilled as most of the professions in urban India, nobody really thinks of them as skilled professionals. They think of them as some kind of fairly primitive activity. And no young person wants to instantly be relegated to being second class or third class citizen. But, there's always a silver lining to the blackest cloud. And one of the things that happened during COVID was that if all of you think back to that first year of COVID, when so much labor was leaving the cities and trekking back to the villages, without getting pay, without having any future. And of course, people in the villages saw these people coming back, the ones who they thought had escaped and had moved to the city and were going to become very rich and well off. And they saw that moving to urban situations isn't necessarily the answer. And they realized that they had in their hands an occupation which was already there, which they didn't have to be get somebody to employ them. And they had a skill for which they didn't have to be trained. And in those months of lockdowns and things, a lot of discussion happened in Indian villages, and also with NGOs like the Crafts Council and Daskar and so on. And we tried to sort of build their confidence and say, well, at least you have something. So we have noticed that there's been some slight turning back of this exodus to the city, and the glamour of the city is not shining as brightly as before. And that particularly in some places like Kutch and Rajasthan and Kashmir, where the young people are very entrepreneurial, and craftspeople have always been quite entrepreneurial, they have picked up a lot of things, as you were saying earlier. They're using their smartphones, they're on Insta, they all have their brands and their things, and they're realizing that they can actually interface with their customers directly, and they don't have to be dependent on middlemen, whether they're government emporiums or sort of exporters or whatever, and that they can negotiate for themselves. They can see the kind of prices that their products are being sold for. So that is, I think, a hopeful sign. But the basic fact is that you can't do anything without credit. And that is somehow not available, because the banks and institutions which give credit don't look at craft as a viable occupation.
May I add a little bit about
Yes, please.
what Leila has spoken? Just exactly we've had exactly the same experience. But what we also found was during COVID, we reached out to all the artisans that we were in touch with, and many of the younger ones as well. And we found that a lot of them were rural based. And for them, the situation was not so dire as it was in the urban places where people just had nothing and they had to go back. So in the rural areas, they had smaller communities, they had little gardens where they could grow their own vegetables. So they were a little more self-sufficient, I should say, and that they realized that at times like this is the strength of, not everyone locating into urban places and, this. So this is one thing that I would just like to point out at this point.
Yeah.
So were you saying something?
Yeah, I also, like COVID really changed our lives, our thought process, and even artisans, the way they were looking at the marketplace. Do you have any other stories where you thought that COVID made them more, they started thinking of newer ways of putting their product in the market, interestingly?
I think it opened, everyone was in the same situation, whether it was a craftsperson or it was a fashion designer or it was an exporter or a government bureaucrat. We were all locked up and all we had was in fact our phones and laptops. So I think craftspeople willy-nilly had to learn how to use these tools, and in doing that they realized that there's a lot of equality where they had always thought of it as a very top-down situation. It wasn't easy always. Daskar started its online platform during COVID as a way to sell crafts products. And it was really an effort initially, because we were all operating on our phones and things, to make them understand how important a good photograph was.
Yes.
And however beautiful the product was, if it wasn't well photographed and well lit, no one was going to really tap on that icon. And we had these funny experiences where, a craftsperson sent this amazing sort of sculpture, so beautiful, worth a couple of lakhs of rupees, and at the back was a little string with his chaddi hanging, striped chaddi hanging, in the background, and you had to say, no, you don't do that. And then we had to show them how to cut out the object and, paste it on a neutral background, etc. So there were lots of things, and it was actually quite nice to laugh about these things at that time. But I actually think that craftspeople today, particularly some of the younger ones in certain areas of India, are doing much better than us NGOs. They're much more proficient in a lot of the kind of life skills that they need today. And that's very nice. The only thing that worries me a little is that because now they have access to so many images, whether it's on Google or Pinterest or whatever, that there is a danger that they tend to copy. They see something and they look at it and they say, oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
And you have to emphasize over and over again that actually their craft, their motives, their style is their signature.
True.
And it's the one thing of value that they have.
Yeah.
And while copying something that they see is selling very well, maybe a short-term solution, in the long run, they have to use their own.
Yes. They have to be confident about what they have been doing.
And
they have
I have to say that it's a lesson that all young designers working with crafts also have to learn. That don't go there with some image in your mind of something you saw in a magazine and say, make this. Because craftspeople are not just a passive pair of hands. They're not like a laptop where you tap on it and out comes what you have in your head. Your challenge is to get them to extract what they have in their heads, in their traditions, and in their knowledge systems, and make something effective, contemporary, but also unique.
Purnima ji, any such
No,
incident?
I completely agree with Laila that the COVID did a lot, and I agree with what you said. Next point, I'll disagree with you.
Next point, promise all of us are going to disagree on
With
that
her.
point. Yeah.
No, social
Wait
media
till
did do, and during COVID, the craftspeople, in fact, it was amazing how quickly they picked up all the social skills and WhatsApps and everything. And now a lot of them are online, and it's been a very good thing, but I disagree. And
Point taken.
no, this is a danger of dilution of tradition, of dilution of your identity, because you're seeing so many things. Earlier, they were quite relatively isolated,
Yeah.
and they were working on the designs which came out of their, the technique that they were doing, the materials that were available, the things they saw around them.
Yeah.
And now suddenly they're faced with this whole new world, and then they want to copy everything. So it really doesn't work. And so that's it.
I would request all of you to please post your questions, whatever you have. I have a very interesting story related to the point we were discussing. So at NIFT we have a category, like we have special seats for students of kids of artisans. So when those students come, they have such interesting things to tell us, to teach us at times. One of them was mentioning, suddenly in my family, I was a very important person. Earlier, my dad used to tell me, "Teri line theek se nahi banti, tera ye acha nahi hai, you just practice." Suddenly, when COVID happened, he was the star of the house because he knew how to click pictures. He was very tech savvy. So that point of view I thought was very interesting coming from this generation, because suddenly they realized the potential that craft had. And then they started thinking what they could be doing, what are the things that they need to learn to be at par with any person who calls themselves a designer or is sitting above the artisan and guiding or telling them what to do. So that was an interesting point that I had to share. Globalization. Now, when we are saying globalization, AI, the things that you are at NIFT, our students, I am sure all of you sitting here, Pinterest, mood boards, suddenly everything is creating such a homogeneous sort of a language. Do you think that is going to influence crafts as well in any way?
I'm sure it is in the short term, because it is exciting and it's so fast. And we live in an era where everyone wants quick results.
Yeah.
But I think in the long term, we will find ways of sorting this out. I mean, when photography was invented, everyone thought it was going to be a great threat to art. And that who is going to buy paintings, who's going to sort of want portraits, when there is this realistic means of producing something. In the end, both have shaken down and found their own space and their own client base. So I'm hoping that people will realize that while it seems almost miraculous that when you can type something in and out pops an image from AI, that actually thousands and millions of people have access to that same image, because there's a limit to how much AI can do. So while the human mind is capable, that each human mind is completely different from the other, and even if you are sitting next door to each other, what you produce is quite different from your neighbors. So, I think the danger is actually, I feel that it's more our knowledge of the world and our understanding of the world, which I find more troubling than its replacement as a design tool, is that in a country like India, where the bulk of population are still neoliterate or illiterate, they take things very literally. And when they see a photograph where you and I might have the sophistication to say that, an image of Modi necking with Princess Catherine of Wales is unlikely to be true. Other people might say, my God, wow, what's happening? And find that very disturbing. So I think we have to be cautious. I had an experience which troubled me a little. Some months ago, I was invited to be part of an inauguration of an exhibition done by a design school where they were celebrating Mahatma Gandhi's birthday. And I went into this hall, and there were these sort of images on the wall of Mahatma Gandhi backed by various types of textile skills, ikat, bandhani, this, naga things. And when I inquired about it, I found that this whole exercise had actually been done by AI, by the students, and that even the image of Gandhiji, which was the sort of repetitive image, was actually of Ben Kingsley acting as the Mahatma rather than the Mahatma himself.
Yeah.
And I said that, how can students experience ikat or bandhani or whatever when all they've done is to just
put the things,
and the whole experience. And I said, what would Mahatma Gandhi, who gave his life for Swadeshi, think of this celebration of it? And it somehow had not occurred to these very young kids and their equally young faculty that this was not what it was all about. So I think in the excitement of trying out new technology, we should stop a minute to think about how do we want to use this new technology and not, use it for everything, because it's not always the best way.
Yeah. Purnima ji, your thoughts?
See, global is all very well, but like you said earlier, I think India, we shouldn't lose sight of the fact that we are the only, perhaps the only country in the world where we have handicrafts and hand-woven textiles. I feel that it is really going to come up in a big way in the long term because of many things, because of the fact, firstly, the handcrafted item or the product has such a feel and such a emotion about it, or whatever it is, it's very different from machine-made product. So this is something special which mustn't lose sight of. And I feel that we mustn't lose sight of this fact. And if we can just hang on to this, that is special, and handcraft is going to come in a big way because it is very sustainable. And now we have textiles which are woven by power looms, but they use electricity. We may, in the future, no longer have electricity. Then what are we going to do? We're going to do things with our hands, isn't it? So it is going to be something important, but we must sustain what we have right now so that we can, feel proud about it and happy about it.
Are there any at the work that you were into, were there any models that you thought you created which through government or through people who are interested in the craft sector can be scaled up in any way? Like any example where you tried to do a certain exercise or created a model with the artisan, and it was done at a smaller level, but it was extremely successful, and you think if there are like-minded people or if the government supports, they could be scaled up, the right people getting together?
I'm always a little wary of this word scaled up, because India has, I think the latest count was about 200 million craftspeople. People think of it as a great resource, and of course it is. But those 200 million people are made up of small pockets of very different and diverse crafts and communities in very different and diverse parts of India. And their whole culture, their language, the craft itself, the material it uses, the designs and motives that are part of its tradition are very different. There is no single generic solution that you can say, okay, let's sort of put these 200 million artisans onto some assembly line and get them to work. And you have to find solutions for each of these clusters and communities which work. That said, of course, there is growth, and the growth is possible because it doesn't require huge investment of either capital or infrastructure. When we started working with the chicken workers in Lucknow, it's one of Daskar's early projects in the 1980s. There were 12 women, and everyone felt that we were completely mad because we were paying these women so much more than what the middlemen in the chalk were paying, and how would they sell. But because we revived old stitches, old cuts, old designs, those 12 women have grown to about 7,000 women now, and they're all earning quite well. But there is a limit to how much you can scale up, because then all aspects of that production have to be scaled up.
Yes.
You can't take, a few thousand women in a village and think that you are going, even if they work night and day, that they are going to be able to find an easy market, because they don't have access to the market. The NGOs like Crafts Council and Daskar also don't have the capability to start a shop in every town in India.
Yeah.
So all these things have to be done gradually. The one lesson that I think you can take from Daskar's 45 years is that every craft does still have a potential. I think out of the 930 projects that we've worked with so far, I think there are only 2 which didn't become sustainable within 3 years or so, and those were because the key person in the organization became corrupt and lost the confidence of the rest of the community. So there is, actually, we are lucky to have this multi-layered markets and consumers, because there's somebody in India who will buy practically everything at any price. And the point is to identify that, and not also to assume that all of them will buy the same thing, or that everyone goes to the same place to go shopping. The kind of customer who goes to, say, Khadi Gramodyog is very different from the person who goes to cottage, although they are in the same sort of circle and Connaught Place. The person who goes to Delhi Heart is perhaps different from the kind of person who goes to a Crafts Council exhibition, etc., etc. So you have to actually identify who you're selling to, what your product is, what your price is going to be, and work at that and not get too confused by the multiple choices.
Purnimaji? Yes. No similar answers?
No. Well, our experience is a little different from Dastakar. For instance, when we tried to have other outlets like Kamla in other cities, in Bangalore, Hyderabad, Chennai, it was not always possible to duplicate it, because the person who is conducting that outlet or whatever has to have a very good knowledge. Every city isn't the same. The taste of Delhi is very different from Bangalore. It's very different from Chennai. So you have to cater to that kind of people who come there, and then so it hasn't been very successful. We've had to close down some other Kamlas, so it hasn't been very successful for us when we tried to duplicate or to go into a larger kind of a thing. And then there was also this thought that perhaps what Delhi Kamla was doing could be duplicated and sent to other. We tried that, but it doesn't work, because the price point isn't right, the color choices are not right, so it doesn't work. That is one thing. And we in Delhi Craft Council, we have not really worked with very large communities, but one of our pet projects has been the embroidery of Himachal called Chamba Rumal. So initially our efforts were to involve everybody. We went to Chamba, and this was about 20 years ago. And our efforts was to involve every artisan and every because this is a combination of 2 crafts, miniature painting and embroidery, a very special kind of narrative embroidery. So our effort was to involve everybody so that we could have a larger group. But we found that that didn't work for several reasons. So we also now have a very small center in Chamba. And we've not been able to, so the other artisans who are outside the center, they would prefer to go on their own. So we've not been able to scale it up. Similarly with some other craft, we've not been really able to scale it up.
Yeah.
And that's fine, I think, because as I said, that you have to judge every community depending on what their capability is, what the potential of the market is to absorb those products, and whether the people themselves want to grow big. Some of them are very comfortable. We've been working with leather workers in Rajasthan, very successful thing. They export, they sell through Fab India, etc. But they don't want to grow.
Yeah.
And they feel very comfortable the way they are. And there are others who are just raring to go and to say,
And
give us
Laila, look at the sort of thing of sadhana, for instance. That's a group in Rajasthan, women's group, and they were very, very big. And they got huge orders from Fab India, and they were running to, they got 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 women involved. And suddenly those orders dried up. So then where are you? You've lifted all these women up, you've given them a livelihood, and then you're really running pillar to post to find a new market. So it's also something you should go into. Scaling up is something you should do slowly and cautiously. And you must have the end point in mind that, this is what I'm going to do, this is where I'm going to sell, this is my market. Because otherwise you can just fall flat.
And you can become totally dependent. You must diversify your market. It's one of the reasons that Daskar does very, very little export, because we say that we have this huge domestic market, and craftspeople are familiar with the kind of seasonal changes that Indian customers have, what they wear in summer and winter, what kind of colors. We don't have that quick turnover of seasonal things. And it's much easier for them to handle domestic orders. And export should be the icing of the cake when you're really so proficient. And you should never become dependent on it.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm glad to say that, again, during COVID, when so many export orders came, and even very big designers came crashing down, craftspeople on the whole, it was a bump. They suffered, but they were able to spring back much easier than most other parts of the economy.
Last question, I guess. It's very encouraging to, see everybody talking the same language as far as craft is concerned, that it is not something that can just be structured in the typical management sort of a manner that, push it up, scale it up, do these things, structure it. Craft is something which is very personal. Craft is something which is very emotional as well. So when we have such a beautiful group as far as India is concerned, what do you think is the future?
Well, that really depends which side of my bed I get up in the morning. There are days when I feel that, oh God, it'll all be gone in the next 30 years. And there are others when I feel that everyone will wake up and realize that we have a gold mine, literally, of crafts and skills and materials which no other country in the world has, at a time when the international market and the domestic market are realizing that it is not necessary for every human being, in order to be fashionable, to look the same. And that you can have your own personality. Your clothes and your home should reflect your own personality. How boring to go into a mall and see that everybody is buying the same 3 colors just because some egghead in New York has decided this is the color.
Yeah. Fashion focused, coming from
ridiculous.
Lift, I do not agree to those at all.
That last year it was periwinkle, this year it's sort of pimento blue or something. I mean, it's so absurd.
Yes.
So I hope that people see, I, for instance, I'm 77, I wear saris only. I don't think I've ever seen anyone wear exactly the same sari as I have.
Yeah.
So, what a wonderful choice we have. And that in India, to wear different clothes, to wear personalized clothes, to wear tailored clothes, is something that is actually cheaper than going and buying a branded garment. We are just so lucky, and we should wake up and look at that and think that what is the buzzword that anyone as they're moving up the social ladder is aiming for. It's a horrible word, it makes me cringe, but the word is exclusive. And if you want to be exclusive, go handcrafted.
Yeah. Yeah, and somehow all the luxury items that now we have gotten so used to, they are not bespoke, mass produced. Here you have an artisan creating something for you, just for yourself, just for you. There is no second piece of that particular item. That is bespoke, that is exclusive. So on that note, Purnimaji, last words.
I feel that there are so many of us Indians, I don't know, 1 billion plus, growing. So if we all love our crafts and if we all value our crafts, it's never going to die and it's going to be there.
Thank you so much. We'll. Okay. I'll go with this one. How do you start with bringing artisans within the technological space? Now the fight begins.
I think they come themselves when they see the need. I'll tell you a story in a slightly different way, because as you know, I mean, as you probably have guessed from my white hair, I've been at this for a very long time. And I remember when we first started working, and there was a group of young volunteers who'd come from England, and they were studying NGOs and the social scene. And they were they came out with me on a field trip in Banaskantha, and initially they were quite impressed at what was happening. And then suddenly, at sort of halfway through the day, they realized that the women that we were working were illiterate. That's another word which I don't really like. But, and they said, they don't know how to read and write. Why aren't you teaching them to read and write, you know? And I said, well, we are not doing it now because they don't see the need. But once they start coming to bazaars and start selling, then they will realize it's quite useful for them to be able to add up and make a bill. And then they'll come to us. We've had this experience in most of our projects, that at a certain point, but at this point, why should I burden them with this additional thing? And also to say that they are lacking in something as if they were, you know, blind or lame. I said they know a language and they know the signs and things. They know what it means when you put a peacock on the skirt of a dress, or you put a lily or something. Those have a significance, just as ABC has for us. So they have another language and they are literate in another way from us. And sure enough, after a couple of years, the Banaskantha women decided that they would rather sell their own things rather than send their husbands and sons to make a mess of it. So they started coming to bazaars, and then yes, they did want to learn how to do things. We started adult literacy at the center. So the same way that when craftspeople feel the need of technology, just as they did the value of social media during COVID, they will ask for it and they'll come for it. And they'll end up, I'm telling you, smarter than you and I.
Very true, very true. Anything else? Yeah. What are the challenges faced by artisans in standing out and maintaining a competitive edge on social media?
I don't know anything about social media. So I'm not a good person to answer it.
Yes, you are the savvy one, Leela ji.
So what was the question again?
The question is, what are the challenges faced by artisans in standing out and maintaining a competitive edge on social media?
my God, it's a jungle out there, and it's really difficult for anybody, let alone an artisan, you know. And but one thing we must remember is that many of us, or whoever, maybe they're just for interest or to pass time or something like that. But for the artisan, the issue is different. For the artisan, it's his livelihood. It's what feeds him. So he has to be very particular about what he does. And so I suppose he, whatever he sees on the social media, if he is a very good judge of what he should do and how he should do it.
Bus? Okay. 2 questions, enough? Anybody else who wants to interact? We can just, have one more question and finish. Yes, please.
I'm going to do it the old-fashioned way. My name's Ella Goodwin. I'm the CEO for Vision Spring. One of the tragedies of getting older is that we get blurry vision, and it intersects with the moment where artisans are peaking in their mastery of their craft and their trade. So around age 40, 45, we get blurry near vision, and we can't do the threading the needle or all the detail work, and we just need magnifying glasses. We don't need doctors for magnifying glasses. If you're in Europe or you're in Australia, you can get eyeglasses in any pharmacy or train station, and all of our artisans need them to sustain their income and to sustain the incredible quality that also demands the highest price. And so my question is, looking out to 2047, trying to create a clear vision India, how do we make sure that 200 million artisans all have clear vision to see well and do well?
Well, Daskar is very lucky that we have a wonderful lady in Singapore whose husband owns a spectacle factory. So they send us boxes which we distribute. But obviously she can't do that for all the millions of artisans in India. So I think you have to encourage this kind of linkages between people you know who make the things and people who need them. And actually I found that even people who don't particularly like donating money are quite happy to give something which they make, and that's a way of actually sharing your good luck with others. I also think that we have obviously that experience of very fine embroiderers, whether they are in Kashmir or in Kutch or in Bengal, whose eyesight has gradually fading as they do fine embroidery. But you can use your imagination and get them to make things which don't have that same strain. Many of our very fine Suf embroiderers in Kutch, which is an incredibly intricate, minute thing where you have to count threads, can't do it once they reach a certain age. But then they turn to patchwork, and they make the most wonderful, imaginative patchworks using that same sense of color and rhythm. So I think you have to use your imagination, and losing your sight is a terrible thing, but perhaps there are solutions. And the most important one is, I think, to use your imagination as well as your eyes.
Thank you so much. I think we'll, thank you Purnima ji, thank you Laila ji.
Thank you so much, Dr. Dimple, Laila ji and Purnima ji, for keeping the session very grounded, very live, and driving home many points. I think there were a lot of organizations working in the space have come here, that authenticity sells. Use technology cautiously. I think we've been having a lot of AI tools, AI discussions throughout the day, but having that. And what was very interesting is that there are as many designs as the number of craftspeople, and so you don't have to be exclusive, is not mass. So we'll have to go bespoke. I agree with that. And how to not get swayed by others in the space and kind of take it forward from there. And I think it's important to also cautiously use the word scale. And I think amazing points for us to take you. Thank you so much for the session. And now may I request Dr. Dimple to kind of hand over the scarves to the panelists. Thank you so much. And for all the attendees, again a request that there is a QR code behind the agenda kit, which is there in your attendee kit. If you can just scan it. There are also standees across with the QR code. If you can actually scan it and give us the feedback, it will be great. The next session here will start shortly. The next 5 minutes. Women breaking barriers for women, livelihood, equity and social justice. Just be here in 5 minutes. The panelists will be here for the next session.